Bill Maher isn't some right-wing flamethrower. He's a dyed-in-the-wool liberal who used to believe the left stood for truth, but now he sees through the facade, and what he sees disgusts him. The modern left only cares about calling out wrong when it suits them. If a conservative says something true, they label it hate speech. If a liberal dares to criticize the madness within their own ranks, suddenly they're the bigot. This isn't justice, it's
Thanks for the detailed content. Here's a rewritten, polished 1500-word version of your commentary, sharper.
Serving echo chamber that only tolerates loyalty, not truth. He's tired of being smeared for standing on principle, and so he's walking out the front door, head high, middle finger raised.
People who believe in social justice have agreed this is wrong and this is bad, and exposing kids to an adult world of lurid costumes and garish makeup borders on abuse. Now hurry up and get in the car, we're late for Drag Queen Story Hour.
Here's where Maher really lays into them. The left screams about love and inclusion, but behind the scenes, it's a cesspool of vice, arrogance, and twisted morality. They claim to protect the youngsters, yet they drag them into adult culture at warp speed.
The video essays delivery. Bill Maher has finally had enough, and he's not quiet about ethos or gullible, easily influenced, eager to please. And when you put complex adult
The left is addicted to the moral high ground, but their morality is rotted at the roots. They don't love youngsters, they love control. Maher sees the rot clearly now, and he won't be complicit in their dangerous charade. And can you blame him? This isn't progressivism, it's perversion masquerading as compassion. And Maher wants
Tits.
This point might fly over the average liberal's head, but not Bill Maher's. He sees it for what it is. Drag Queen Storytime isn't about reading to children, it's about exposing youngsters. It's about men dressed as women.
Ideologies in front of 6-year-olds. They don't ask questions, they absorb. If they don't have context, critical thinking, or skepticism. So when you bombard them with confusing ideas about gender and
validation for adults, not enrichment for young ones. Maher doesn't mince words. This is ego, not empathy. It's theater for attention, not character building. And here's the thing, they know it, but they do it anyway, because challenging it gets you labeled a
identity. It's not education, it's manipulation. And if that sounds harsh, well, it's because it is. What some activists are doing under the guise of inclusion isn't just inappropriate.
Hey, Maher's frustration is palpable. Childhood used to be sacred, now it's political battleground zero. He's mourning the loss of innocence and the rise of indoctrination. And you can tell he's done watching kids get dragged into this cultural experiment.
I've said it before, wokeness is not an extension of liberalism anymore. It's more often taking something so far that it becomes the opposite. Teaching kids not to hate or judge those who are different, great. Proud we got there, all for that. But at a certain point, inclusion becomes promotion. And contrary to current progressive dogma, children aren't miniature adults wise beyond their years, they're morons.
It's not just activists. The infection runs straight to the top. Maher tears into the so-called leaders of the Democratic Party, AOC.
It borders on entrapment. Entrapment means leading someone into doing
Wokeism. Bernie used to fight millionaires until he became one. Now he picks on billionaires like a socialist scavenger. Gavin Newsom, the guy let homes burn in Pacific Palisades to save a fish. And AOC thinks you're a misogynist if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris. This isn't leadership, it's delusion in a pantsuit. Maher's message is clear. If this is the future of the Democratic Party, then count him out. He's not following a cult dressed in climate slogans and social justice hashtags. He knows where this leads: chaos, division, and failure. And he's not interested in joining their woke
And they don't have any frame of reference. So they normalize whatever's happening. That's why endlessly talking about gender to 6-year-olds isn't just inappropriate. It's what the law would call entrapment, which means enticing people into doing something they wouldn't ordinarily do. For example, after 9/11, there were several cases of overzealous federal agents leading sad losers into terrorist plots, like the undercover FBI agent who got 7 out-of-work dudes in Liberty City, Florida, to sign on to a plot to bomb the Sears Tower in Chicago. Oh, please, these guys didn't even have a gun.
Here's where Maher truly breaks from the herd. He may not be a conservative, but when it comes to kids, he draws a hard line. And the left crossed it. They're not just pushing ideologies, they're reprogramming
something they wouldn't ordinarily do. It's what overzealous,
concerned Americans, parents, teachers, and yes, conservatives, who've watched in horror as the left tramples over innocence like it's outdated furniture. Drag shows for kids, hormone treatments for teens, pronoun drills in kindergarten, and the left doesn't blink. Maher does. And that's why he's walking away. When liberals like him start sounding like Republicans on children's issues, you know the left has lost the plot.
And if you think that some of that isn't going on with gender in schools, you're not watching enough TikTok videos.
I pledge allegiance to the queers.
I'm not allowed to be out as trans non-binary at school. So my response to this is to be as obnoxiously queer as possible.
There's a certain kind of activist these days who wants to take heterosexuality, old school, old-fashioned, boring, minding its own business heterosexuality, and lump it in with patriarchy and sexism and racism and tell kids, wouldn't it be cool if you were anything but that?
Remember the days when being straight wasn't controversial? The left doesn't. They've demonized
FBI agents did after 9/11's, getting sad. Desperate men to
mocks the idea that being straight, loving your spouse, and raising your offsprings is suddenly offensive. The left treated normalcy like heresy, and anyone who dared defend it got labeled a bigot. He's not playing that game anymore. Straight Americans
agree to half-baked terror plots they never would have pursued on their own. Now imagine that
climate change to colonialism. Maher sees the insanity in it, and he's not interested in apologizing for being a man who likes women, period.
I never used the phrase gay agenda because I thought it was mostly nonsense, and it is, mostly. But a director for Disney television animation did say after she was hired,
the showrunners were super welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness. No one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
Look, I'm all for adding queerness wherever. I put some in my drink before I came out here tonight. But maybe we should think about giving kids a break from our culture wars for a minute.
For years, conservatives were called crazy for saying there was a covert agenda to push LGBTQ+
that same tactic being applied to children. But this time, the agenda isn't terrorism.
He talks about how even he dismissed it until a Disney executive let the cat out of the bag and admitted they were sneaking LGBTQ+ characters and themes into kids' programming. Not for tolerance, not for diversity, but to reshape the culture. Maher was shocked and angry. He realized he'd been lied to, manipulated, gaslit, and now he's pulling the fire alarm. This isn't about rights, it's about indoctrination. Even a liberal like Maher sees that the future is being hijacked, and he's finally sounding the alarm the left refuses to hear.
If you want to win my vote, don't give me the ick. You know what the ick is, right? It's a term mostly used in the dating world to describe that moment when one of the people, usually the man, does something so icky that the woman cannot forgive it or forget it. Like sending a dick pic or being mean to the waitress, paying for dinner with a coupon, getting his mother to call you when you dump him, asking for sex in baby voice. Once you give her the ick, it's a wrap.
Bill Maher voted Democrat for decades, but lately the party gives him the ick. Why? Because they've lost their damn minds.
It's ideology. Bill Maher sees what's going on, and he's had enough. For years, he tried to reason with his side, hoping for sanity to return. It didn't. And now he's doing what many liberals